Well, here we are, Saturday morning cereal. Thanks for popping in and hanging out with us. Vicki and I are back this week. Last week we took a little time off. We didn't have a show last week. Last Friday was our 26th wedding anniversary.
It seems like it was more than that.
What, you mean like it's been longer than 26 years is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, like we've been married since 1465?
Yeah,
1485, whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I see how it is.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Morning, everybody.
Hey. Well, hey, James popped in with us this morning.
Hey, James.
And GW Rules is back. Hey.
Hey, GW.
Glad you guys could jump in. This week we're going to be talking about Aves Apoxie Sculpt, and we're going to do that a little bit later in the show, but there's some other stuff that we'll want to get to before that. I'm also looking at something here that I was going to show you guys. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, we'll look up Tom Mason Sculpting. Here we go. Okay. I'll give everybody a chance to jump in that wants to join us. But I'm going to give you guys a heads up on some of the other stuff that we've been working on. Let's go to this display right here. Okay. This is over on YouTube, and Tom Mason has his the Mini Sculpting Super Show. And so he's got like a bunch of videos on there about sculpting with putty and all this. And I think he's got a few on sculpting with green stuff and sculpting with ZBrush. I think there's a few ZBrush things. But last week we got together and did like a little video of the Sculptsters. And this was our first episode of this where we got together and talked about sculpting and whatnot, and I would show you that, but there's like a big ad in the way. But anyway, if you go over to YouTube and put in Tom Mason Sculpting in your little search bar on YouTube, it'll come up with his YouTube channel. Now we're gonna kind of spread that around. So this week I'm going to be recording the episode, and so that'll be over on our Bombshell YouTube channel. And actually I've got a little playlist that I included on our Bombshell channel. So if you go to actually Bombshell Miniatures YouTube page, there's a little section down here under created playlists where you can go to the Sculptsters and watch episode 1 of Tom Mason and Bill Thornhill and I talking about how we got started in the miniatures business, chatting and a little bit about our backgrounds and so forth. James says that he met a guy this past week who was still using Milliput.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I started, actually I talk about starting out sculpting with Milliput on the Sculptsters show that we had the first episode of the Sculptsters, because that was basically the first stuff that I was using when I was doing conversions and one-off figures and stuff for our Warhammer games. So, but anyway, I wanted to tell you about that because we're going to record another episode tomorrow night. I think it's like the first Sunday of the month is when we try to record those, and then it'll be posted here in a week or so once I get the editing and stuff done, and then the three of us kind of share it out to our channels, our different social media things. So you should be able to catch that. This week we're going to be talking about our inspirations. So like what inspired us to sculpt, or like when we're sculpting, what are our inspirations? Like what styles do we like, or do are there other sculptors or other artists that we like to look at and all this. And I'm sure, each one of us with our different backgrounds, we're going to have, different influences on our work and the type of stuff that we like to do. So I'll, be posting that here pretty soon. And then I'll share the link out and you guys can check that out and see what you think. And anyway, so we'll get on with... That's not the one. Okay. We'll get on with the rest of our show. And so I want to thank you guys for jumping in and chatting with us this morning. Thanks for hanging out. We also need a close-up of the cat at some point. Okay. Well, that's kind of funny because I've got some stuff. We're going to kind of lead off with the some news and update on LeeLoo this week. So here she is. She's sacked out in the sunshine, and I snapped this pic while she was, taking it easy and everything. But her and Nateri are getting along a lot better than they were. I mean, Nateri is still kind of hissing at her and swatting and if she gets too close.
Grouchy.
She's a fussy fur, and Nateri's like 10 now, right?
Yeah, she'll be 10 in September.
Right. So she's set in her ways, and it kind of runs the house. So bringing the new kitten in, she's like, I don't know about this. But she's she's kind of rolling around on the carpet or the rug, and was.
They were chasing each other the other day.
Yeah, so they seem to play, at some point, and it's kind of funny because Nateri is. She kind of seems to be like, well, I'll play with her or whatever unless you guys are watching me.
Yeah. It's like, I'll play with you when they're not looking, but when they're looking, it's like, I don't like that baby.
Right.
I don't like her.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what that's about, but
I know.
it's
weird.
what are you gonna do? I mean, they're cats, so but they at least they're getting along better than they were. So and I think it's been 5 weeks now that she's been.
Yeah, yesterday we've had her for 5 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and she got her third.
Yeah, she got her little booster shot.
Yeah,
or
she
whatever.
got her like second or third booster stuff yesterday. So
right. So. Hey. Oh, it looks like Heather's jumped in and joined us this morning. So okay, cool. So everybody's coming back and hanging out with us.
Yay!
I like it. We're just giving a little update on LeeLoo here. As a small kitten, she's still teething, so she's working through the baby teeth and chewing on stuff. So
including our hands.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get her to stop chewing on her fingers and stuff, because hands are not toys and that kind of thing. So, but since she's wanting to chew on stuff, that includes my margarita straw. So, it looks like she's finished off the rest of my margaritas, but that's not the case. So she's just chewing on the straw, and I had already finished it off, so I'm not going to be drinking after the cat, I mean, even though it's probably safe or whatever, but anyway, yeah, so I was able to, and we were sitting there watching TV, and I looked over, and she's chewing on my straw, and I was like, oh, I've got to get a shot of that, because it's like, yeah, she takes after Daddy and likes the margaritas. So, let's see, what is... James says, yeah, the old man doesn't care for the new kid. Clink versus River. Yeah. So, yep, everybody that gets set in their ways, they're like, I don't want to mess with the new baby.
Well, she is a handful.
She's feisty, man. She runs through the house and they get going.
She's like a little dynamo, man, when she gets wound up.
Yeah. So, but aside from the cats, we did get some other stuff done this week. We got a lot of casting and stuff done.
Yep.
On the scout ship project. So,
Yay!
We've got about another dozen kits that we're wrapping up. I've got some hull pieces that are left to cast.
I'm mad at myself too because my mom came out to help us, and I meant to take a picture, and I didn't. I forgot to, but she's helping us bag stuff up and everything.
Oh, to get a picture of all the packages and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, yeah, the stuff that's packaged up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got. I kind of snapped this of cleaning the engine parts. So these are sprues of the engine hull pieces, and so these are fresh out of the molds, and you can see that the one there has the flash has been cleaned off of it and that sort of thing. So we try to get those a little tidy so that they'll fit when they're packaged up, to get those sent out to you, and then you guys can do the rest of the cleaning and the modeling and stuff on that when you get ready to assemble them. But anyway, so we got those done. We got molds made for the Ghent bots. So here I've got 3 different hulls for the Ghent bots that were offered in that set. And I've got molds made. I need to cut those up, probably cut those this weekend and get those ready to cast this week. So we can put those with the next batch of ship kits that are going out. Then we've got prints for an assortment of different arms that are going to be included in that set. I think there's like a Firebot, the Firebot tank arms, and the I think the surgical arms. I can't remember.
Yeah, the EMT arms and the for the gift parts that are going with the project.
Yeah,
there's like the what is that? The little forklift.
Yeah, right. I've got the lift arms,
and I think there's like the security arms, and maybe the firearms.
Right, and then like the regular arms.
Yeah.
So,
or something I can't remember. There's 3 different arms.
Yeah. Let's see. Heather was like, her first cat drank her martini. Okay. When he was a kitten. And that's how he got his name. Well, what's your cat's name then? I guess you're calling him Martini.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Oh, he likes the martini.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, let's see. I think that's cute.
That is cute. Martini.
Oh, unfortunately, he passed away in 2008. Oh, well, that's
Aww.
sad. Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But boy, they're sure a lot of fun and keep us company when they're with us, though. That's what we're enjoying about having our cats and stuff is being able to spend the time with them that we have. So, here's another thing I wanted to kind of mention to you guys too. Victoria Miniatures has got some stuff. I had sculpted the Inquisitor Sister Joan for her for Adepticon last weekend, and I'm pretty sure that sold out, so I don't know if there's any copies of that. I know you could have gotten it over on her website. But anyway, if you're following Victoria Miniatures over on Instagram, I think her most recent post about this is she's looking for suggestions for next year's Adepticon figure. So if you guys have any ideas, or if you're thinking about something that's like, well, because I think the last 2 that she did was the Sister Joan character. So there's a different version of it, from the year before, and then like they skipped a year because of the pandemic thing. So it was so she didn't produce one, but then this year there's kind of a different pose. It's the Sister Joan Survivor version. So I think there were 200 of those that were produced, and they were run at Reaper in their Bones USA material, which is the Ceocast thermoplastic. So if you guys were able to order those and get you a copy of that, very cool, because they're a limited thing. So I was happy to kind of repose that figure from before for her so that she could put this version out. And then the thing that she's got running right now is Ukraine fundraiser. She's got a Katerina and Sergei set that's a little pilot and her trusty co-pilot dog, which is I want to say it's a Kelpie. The breed of dog is a Kelpie is what she had requested. So I sculpted this set for her, and she's selling those. I think they're still available over on the website now, and she's raising money to donate to UNICEF for the Ukraine emergency thing. So that money is going to go to help people over there, and I think that's pretty awesome. So I was happy to be able to set a little bit of time aside to sculpt that for her fundraiser. But anyway, so we'll get on with what we're talking about here today, which is going to be Aves Apoxie Sculpt. Okay, so we mentioned earlier in the show about milliput, and whenever I first started sculpting miniatures, that was all I had in order to patch, I guess, seams and all of that sort of stuff. So like if you put multi-part models together, there's usually a seam, particularly if they're metal. And so this stuff is really easy to, you mix the two parts of it together in equal amounts, and over time it cures and sets up. The thing about milliput is I believe that it's manufactured in the UK, and importing that was, the packages of it were pretty expensive for the amount that you got. So I did some searches online. This was, I want to say back in 2004 or 2005 or so. And I came across Aves Apoxie Sculpt. And it's a very similar material. The consistency is, it's kind of it's very clay-like. It's got a dry but sticky kind of a quality to it. And it's not elastic at all. So there's very, very little memory to it. So like whenever you poke it, it doesn't relax back. Like green stuff. If you've ever done any modeling or done any patching using green stuff putty, it's kind of the opposite of that. So if you're looking for something to sculpt with that stays put, this is the stuff to use. Some of the things that you want to do is like once you mix the two parts of it together, you probably want to leave it set for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on if you're going to be sculpting with it, because that will kind of reduce the tackiness of the material. It'll allow it to set up a little bit, and then you can handle it a little bit better. You can still smooth it with water and that sort of thing, but the interesting property about it is that if you use a lot of water with it, and actually what I've done is I've put a little bit of the putty in a small cup, like a little plastic container, and add a lot of water to it and then mix it up. You can create like a slurry or a slip and actually brush it on, and then it'll create a thin layer, and you can feather it out and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different things, or a lot of different ways that you can use this particular kind of putty. And I don't know if any of you guys have any other tricks that if you've used this before or anything like that, and you want to post that in the chat. I'd be interested to hear about what your experiences are with that. But here I've been patching like resin castings and so forth. So like if you get a little bit of, you get some pin bubbles or something along the edge of a resin casting, then what you can do is once you mix the material up, you can take your putty knife and press it into and scrape it along the edge to force it into where those bubbles are in the resin, and then take a little bit of water and then smooth that out. And you can't tell, like once it's been primered and painted and so forth, you can't tell where those bubbles were. And I've seen like on online videos and some other tips and so forth that I guess Games Workshop puts out a liquid green stuff material, and that is basically just it's like a thick paint, and so it's not green stuff and it's not a putty at all. It's basically an acrylic paint that has like a filler in it that allows it to fill in gaps and holes and so forth in or defects in castings. So with this, this is an actual putty that you can use to either sculpt with or to fill in gaps and so forth. So it's a lot. I mean, it's thick like a clay, so it's not like that. But the thing about that is like with the liquid green stuff, you're kind of forced to the consistency of whatever comes in that bottle. Whereas with the Epoxy Sculpt, once you mix it up, you kind of have control over what the consistency of it is. So it gives you a lot more flexibility, you know, from gap filling all the way up to doing actual, you know, sculpting actual materials and so forth. I know that there's a sculptor, Alterton in South America, that actually sculpts 1/6 scale figures and like garage kits and stuff out of Aves Apoxie Sculpt. And, you know, he does full sculpts. And I've seen, I think I've seen some YouTube videos of some of the things that he's done, and it's pretty amazing. So it's a very versatile material. The kind of patching that I've been doing on resin pieces, I've taken the white. So I have the package like they show here. So this is an unopened package of it where you get the two parts, just like it shows in the picture. And this I get white. So it comes white. But then what I order is the little small sections of it in black. So it comes with the two parts, but I just take the black part of it. Let's see if I can actually get that open. You can see it. Yeah. Oh, that's the other one. Let's see. Yeah. Yep, that's the other container of that. Okay. But anyway, if you get the black stuff, then you can actually take a little bit of that and add it into the white. And here I've mixed it so it makes kind of a neutral gray. And this neutral gray matches the same color as our smooth cast 6060 resin. Hey Dave, thanks for jumping in with us this morning. Dave says hi.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, I hope you've been able to get your coffee and so forth, because it's not, well, I haven't. I just had peaches this morning, so I didn't even get to have Saturday morning cereal today.
Peaches. It was pears, wasn't it?
Oh, you're right. It was. See, I don't even know. It's like I just had those earlier, and
I had some kind of fruit.
That's some kind of fruit thing out of a can, yeah. But anyway. So yeah, thanks for jumping in with us. Coffee in hand. Okay, good deal.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, we're talking about Aves Apoxie Sculpt this morning, and so I mix a little bit of the black in with the white, and it gives me kind of a neutral gray color here. I'm going to shove it right up into the camera so you guys can see that. Okay. And so whenever I patch stuff here, it kind of blends in with the resin castings. So and it's a handy color because it shows up against other stuff that you know, like if I was going to patch, you know, something else, metal or whatever, it's even if it was white, it shows up really well, you know, against that. So you can kind of tell where you're blending your edges and so forth. So the other trick that I kind of wanted to tell you about Aves Apoxie Sculpt is that, like the other, since it's a two-part epoxy, like you can see here, like this is really old stuff. So I think I got this container whenever we first moved out here. So what'll happen is that I didn't do what I needed to do to keep this sealed. Okay, so the part B is the hardener in that. So like part A is the epoxy part, and then is the what do they call it? It's the inert part, basically. And the part B is the hardener. So it's got the chemicals in it that cause the reaction for it to harden once it's been mixed. Well, the problem with that, and this happens with resins and with epoxy, and you'll even see this with green stuff with the I believe it's the blue part is the hardener. And the more that it's in contact with the air, the harder it gets. It reacts with the humidity in the air, and the water particles will cause it to crystallize over time. And so, like, if you've left your putty, sitting out, or you leave it in a container like this, see, like I didn't cover that, so I had the lid on it, but I didn't cover it. So the air that's inside the container will cause this putty to crystallize, and it gets hard and it gets old, or whatever, however you want to describe it. And it makes it very difficult to use or difficult to mix up. And I've heard from some other sculptors online that have suggested things like, well, you can kind of warm it up in the microwave, you put it in there for a few seconds and warm it up, and then that kind of reconstitutes it a little bit. I have not personally microwaved my putty, so I don't know that I want to recommend that, but you may see that, in some other places online. The trick that I should have done, which I'd like to do, and this is what I mentioned, is that when you first open it, once you scoop out whatever you want to use, and then before you put the lid back on it, I've cut like a little sandwich bag, like those little the thin plastic baggies that you would put sandwiches or chips or whatever in. And, just cut out a section of that and then press it onto the top. So you would basically just take that plastic and poke it down in here and press it up against the putty itself to create an airtight seal, and then put your lid back on there, and that will keep the air and so forth from getting to it. And it'll have it last a little bit longer. So I'm probably going to mix up, another batch of this before too long, because it's starting to get to where there's not really any area in it that's not affected by air. Let's see. Dave says that he loves Epoxy Sculpt and's used it for years. It gets that crusty yellow thing if not stored properly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's another good point of putting it in the freezer. So, like, and basically I should have done that with this new package, is to put it in basically the refrigerator or whatever, but it's usually pretty cool in the studio in here, so it's not really going to affect it, and it's still sealed in plastic, and the packages haven't been opened. But yeah, if you're going to open it up and you know that you're going to store it for quite a while, stashing it in the freezer will also it'll impede the reactions with the air, so it'll keep your hardener fresh a little bit longer. The other thing that's interesting about that too is that because temperature does affect it, like when you mix the two parts, it will generate a certain amount of heat while the two parts cure, but because the material, there's such a small amount of the material that you're mixing at a time, you're not going to be able to detect the heat. But the warmer that it is in the room, or the warmer that it is in the environment, the faster that the putty is going to cure. So you can use that to your advantage whenever you're working with it, because if you want to put some putty on, the material, or you want to stick two parts together or whatever, regardless of the kind of putty that you're using, you can stick that under a lamp. And if it's not an LED lamp, or if it's an actual, like an incandescent bulb that puts off, heat, then you can warm that up under your lamp, and that'll allow it to cure faster. And the opposite of that is also true, where what I do is if I mix up too much putty and I'm working on a particular area where I'm patching, parts or something like that, then I'll take the other half of it and put it off on a little piece of plastic and stick it in the freezer. I've got a little freezer here under my workbench that I keep bottled water and stuff in. And so I'll stick that in the freezer there, and it'll extend the working time on it. So that way I can finish the part that I'm working on, then get the other part that's mixed out of the freezer and just set it on my hands and warm it up and work with it. And then get that going and continue with whatever it is that I'm patching. let's see, there was something else that I was going to show you about that. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about the freezer. There was, here it is. Okay. So there's a little container that I have that I've got water in, and these are, it's basically just got a little lid that sticks on there. But I put water in this in order to use to smooth out the stuff that I'm working with putty, and these are little foam sponges that come in blister packs for miniatures. So I just cut those out and put those in there and put a little water, and then I can just put my tool in it and wet my fingers or whatever to work with the putty. I also use these Plano plastic dividers, and this is basically what I work putty on when I'm working with stuff. So let's see, Aves Fix-It. Let's see, I just read this week that it has a longer working time and cures harder than epoxy, more sandable. John Dennett recommended it. Oh, okay. I have not used Fix-It. I've seen that online. Most of the stuff that I've done, most of the stuff that I've worked with is just the Epoxy Sculpt. So I may have to, next time I order stuff, I may have to give that a try and see what the different properties are, because that's very interesting. John Dennett is pretty cool, and I I dig his sculpts. He's a great guy. I got to meet him at Wonderfest. He's a super great sculptor. And if you guys are familiar with Stranger Things, he's also the sculptor that sculpted that Demogorgon that they have for from Grenadier Miniatures in the way back. So he's that guy. But he's a super nice sculptor. Hey, if you get some of that, Dave, let me know. Let me know what you think and give it a try. But anyway, yeah, these little plastic dividers that I use, it's like, well, you can actually sculpt stuff on there because it's kind of it's the same kind of polypropylene that like milk cartons and that kind of thing. And actually, you can cut out a little section of a milk carton and put your putty and stuff on that. And I used to use that, but they weren't flat. But these little dividers that come in the Plano tackle boxes or the parts containers or whatever, they're just the right size to sculpt a little bit on, or you can stick your putty on there. Like there's some cured Aves Apoxie on there from some stuff that I was working on. But those come in really handy to stick your putty on while you're working on it, stick it in the freezer, or stick it under a lamp or whatever. So that's really useful. But so the Fix-It, I'll have to give that a shot. Right, your art bin dividers. Yeah, that's basically the same thing. So you could now the Plano ones, they have like a little ridge along the edge or whatever on that. So I just took a X-Acto knife and just cut those off because I'm not planning on using them again as a divider. We've got tons of those things. And after they get scratches or worn out or whatever, the surface of them gets gritty. Then I'll just pitch them and get a new one. But yeah, you have to cut those little ridges off of there for it to lay flat. But that's usually not too bad. So, let's see. I guess today is April the 2nd, right? The 2nd of April?
Yeah.
So we're talking about having some kind of promos or something coming up this week.
Oh, yeah. I've got a few critter promos coming up for April.
Yeah.
one, did y'all know? I mean, I looked this stuff up online and I was like, well, I didn't know that. But April the 18th is Velociraptor Day. And I thought that was super cool.
Who knew?
Yeah. So if you want a swarm
A swarm
of
velociraptors.
Velociraptors. I'm gonna work up a thing so
they're gonna eat you like a swarm.
So they're gonna eat you like a velociraptor swarm. So there's gonna be like an offer to get a whole bunch of little Taj velociraptors. So for the 18th, and then there's I think like the 6th is National Siamese Cat Day, and so I'm going to do something with the cats.
Okay.
Slinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And let's see what else they had. There's even like, I don't know, it's like Hug Your Dog Day or National Dog Day or something like that.
I hadn't heard about that.
And so we have a bunch of different dogs, and I'm gonna come up with some kind of offer so you can get one of the puppies if you're interested in more puppies for your miniature collections.
Well, that would be cool.
Because we've got the Rottweiler and the German Shepherd and the Doberman and the Corgis, and
That's a lot of dogs.
yeah, we're
I didn't know we had that many dogs.
accumulating quite a few canines, which is cool.
Yeah. We need some more cats.
Yeah, we do. We can always do with more animals, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't know, and I may do a general, a general sale for like Criticans or Sidekicks or something like a, buy two get one or something. I don't know, but we got a bunch of critter offers that'll be coming up this month, so.
Right.
If you want some more critters, you we'll be sending that out in the email. So
Yeah. And so we're working on putting another email together that should be going out Monday or Tuesday.
yeah,
And we're talking about putting a coupon code together. So if you're on the mailing list, be
Yeah.
sure and check out the email this time.
yeah, we're talking about having monthly coupon codes that are sent out with the emails, and for different kinds of offers. So people may find that handy and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, good deal. Well, the folks that are in the chat, what are you guys working on this morning? Have you got any projects that you're working on the workbench? Or are you just sitting there looking at us talk about stuff?
Please tell me you're working on stuff.
Vicky's coming along on Major Tom because he's just about wrapped up.
I'm trying to get him wrapped up. I
Mhm.
mean,
Let's see.
Just kind of finish up some stuff on him.
Oh, Dave says he needs an Edo War Strider.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, we got him.
Yep.
I would love to paint that Joker. In fact, I need to paint one because, I don't want to give it away. Well, I guess I'm kind of already started. For little Savage World beta demos, kind of want to have one of those for that. So,
Yeah. Yep.
I think that would be fun to pop out and.
Well, we need one.
Y'all come around a corner and you see this.
Yeah. That's a big thing.
It's like,
Let's see. Heather's working on a display base and working on, let's see, Dave's working on Savage Worlds RPG, Octung Cthulhu. Okay. I have a copy of that somewhere. So, yeah, that's cool. And then James is old. He can't multitask anymore.
Well, I hear you, James.
That's fine. You can just, hang out and listen to us rattle on about
Yammer.
stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, we need to start working on stuff here pretty soon because I want to start putting together some terrain. I know the last couple of episodes that we had, we talked about gaming mats and scenery pieces and so forth. So I know that we're going to be putting some stuff together for North Texas RPG Con, which we'll be going to. That's like the
first week of June.
First weekend of June. Okay, so we've got like 2 months to put stuff together for that show. So
yeah, and you'd think 2 months is that's a lot of time, but it's not.
That's not a lot of time.
Not when it's just us and we're doing all this other stuff.
Right, with all the other stuff that's going on. Yeah. But now the cool thing about it is that I've already got a lot of counterblast scenery put together already. So
yeah. And I'm going to kind of cheat, so I'm going to look at some of the counterblast models we already have painted and see if I can pick some of the player characters from those miniatures. Even though we are going to come out with some new figures for counterblast, hopefully later this year. But just for expediency and being able to get the demo stuff together, probably be looking at some of the old figures that we have for some of those characters for right now. So until we get some new stuff,
just so that we'll have them. That would be a nice shortcut. You know, it's like, well, we've already got those painted. It's so we can pick out the ones that kind of fit with what the character archetypes are that you're going to work up for the game.
Yep.
And include those. So, yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. But I know that we want to start working on some stuff here pretty soon. I want to try to get the On the Workbench show set up to where we can actually start, doing that, where I can start putting some of the models together and everything.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Because we're kind of running behind on getting some of the models in the web store, as far as like, we put out Edolisks and we've put out
Niren.
Yeah, the Niren sisters are let me show you the Niren sisters because nobody has actually seen this.
Oh, that's right. You're the ones that you started painting.
Yeah. So I've actually gotten started on that, but I haven't taken any pictures or anything of them. So I'll just kind of hold up some of those. So like the original Niren models that we had, I got Mary to paint those for us. So I've got you've probably seen the Niren Jamad figure online. So she did an excellent job.
Yep.
Of painting those. So I've tried to take and sort of replicate that style. So I started off with these where I don't know if it'll focus on that. Will it do that? I don't know if you guys can see that. It still looks blurry. So it's still not going to focus. There it goes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so she's so I've airbrushed this with oh man, what is it? That aqua, there's like an aqua color that Reaper puts out.
Yeah,
MSP.
there's that aqua ocean teal or whatever it is.
Surf aqua, yeah. And so that's kind of our official Niren color on that. So, but anyway, so I sprayed these like a darker color and then put kind of a highlight color over that. So that's where I started. And then I've started blocking in some of the other colors on this as well. So let's see.
So, and just as kind of additional info that you may or may not want to know about Niren, most Niren skin tones are some kind of blue. They're not necessarily aqua blue.
No.
But these are.
Yeah.
And, but, they can range all different kinds of blues from, powder blue to indigo blue to, whatever. Just all kinds of different blues.
So I've gotten some of their costuming and stuff blocked out on there. But man, it's been It's been like
since
two or 3 weeks since I've been able to
worked on them.
paint on. Well, it's like 2 or 3 months, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, when did we put these out? In like November, October?
It was November.
December. Yeah. So I think I started painting these like in December, and they.
Yeah, you hadn't worked on them in a while.
Right. Yeah, because I've been casting and stuff and doing other things. So anyway, yeah. So I put these to the side. Well, plus you've had your Major Tom stuff sitting over there too.
Oh, don't blame Major Tom.
Well, I don't want to move. I don't want to move that stuff out of the way.
Tell your story walking, buddy.
But when you get finished with that, I'll probably go back to working on those.
Yeah,
so
when I get finished. I get finished Major Tom, so heck can I do stuff?
do you have the STL files of the Niren?
I thought we did.
No, that's what Heather's saying, is she can't wait until it's spring here so she can print these. So Novus Templar has jumped in and joined us. Hey, how's it going? Let's see, love the Niren. It says love the Niren. Been testing blues and then stripping paint.
You sound like me.
Yeah. Paint a little bit, strip a little bit, paint a little bit. Yeah.
Paint a little bit, back to simple green. Okay, let's try this. No, back to simple green.
Yeah. Talking about 3D printing, you definitely want it to be warm. We've been having trouble because it's been cold here too, and it's just now started to warm up to where it's like, well, we had to run the little space heaters and stuff in there overnight to get some of the things to print, because you don't want it to get too cold.
It needs to be at least 70 degrees.
Yeah.
And it gets cooler back there because it's real protected.
Right.
So
it's insulated and so forth.
It's like, you go back there, it's kind of like a cave, and it's pretty cool. So we have to turn the space heater on in there to kind of warm it up so we can run the 3D printer.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. You definitely want it to be warm enough to where it'll stick, and like I've seen layers, separate where they don't stick all the way if it's too cold. So yeah, that's a weird thing. But let's see. It's only 36 degrees there today.
Oh, where? Where are you?
Let's see, we had snow on the ground yesterday morning.
Oh
wow.
My gosh. Whoa.
Holy cow. See, this is in Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So I can imagine it's still pretty cold there.
Holy moly.
The stuff that we've had to contend with are like, tornadoes and high winds and that sort of thing.
Which is bad in its own way.
Yeah. Dave says it's 42 in southern Indiana.
42.
Yeah.
I think yesterday it was like in the 30s when we got it.
No, it was the 50s.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
what day was it? It was in the 30s. It wasn't that long ago. Wasn't it like Wednesday or Thursday? Or
it was last week whenever it that rain came through. So
it was like, holy cow.
this is what it is here right now. And then like later today, it's telling us it's going to be 74 this afternoon. Which just to let you guys know a little update, it was Dave says it was 85 on Wednesday. It's like, yeah, it got into the 90s here this week. One day. But let's see, when was that? Wednesday. When did I mow? I got to mow the first time this season. Tuesday, right? Because they were talking about it was going to be like heavy duty raining or whatever on Wednesday. So the last opportunity that I had to mow was the day before that. So I got out there and mowed on Tuesday and got the whole property done, and it took about an hour and a half. So that was pretty nice, and it was a good thing too, because it's still squishy out there in the the lower places and stuff where there was water and everything. So if I was
we have
gonna
like
mow,
a bog going
and you
on
get
up
bogged
there.
down, yeah. So definitely want to keep the grass down. Novus Templar says that here in Kansas we had 2 inches of snow at daybreak on Thursday morning, and it all melted by noon.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Man, that's amazing. Y'all
Yeah.
are getting snow still.
Yeah. See, our local Renaissance fair is about what, 30 miles, 30 or 40 miles south of here.
40 miles south of here, and
Yeah.
a few years back, was it 2015?
Yeah.
They had like snow the opening weekend.
Yeah. Opening weekend is usually like the middle of April.
Yeah.
And it's like April the 15th, around there, and whatever that first weekend is.
Yeah.
And I remember
It was freezing cold.
it was freezing cold that weekend, and it snowed out at the Renaissance fair. So
You could actually wear your Renaissance Festival outfit and not be hot.
right, for a change.
Yeah.
Because then it runs for 6 weeks, and by the time that it gets to Memorial Day weekend, it's like 100 degrees out there.
Yeah, it's
and
like
you can't.
my brother has this very elaborate outfit that he wears. He's like the captain of the Musketeer Guard out there, or
Yeah.
he used to be. And I think he's going to have a daggone heat stroke.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and they came out and hung out with us last weekend. So, so that was nice, taking a weekend off. Takes time away from painting and modeling. Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
that stuff that's got to get done. Let's see, Wisconsin weather, roll a die on the hour and see what season Mother Nature thinks it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of Texas.
That sounds very Texas, but just quite a bit cooler.
Yeah.
So,
Which would be nice.
It's too hot here.
it does get hot. I mean, during the wintertime, the winter months, it's not so bad, but
Ooh, summer here is just ooh.
yeah. And it makes it difficult for doing hobby stuff that's temperature sensitive, because it's like if we're resin casting or even doing sculpting with putty or doing any of that kind of stuff, it's like you got to make sure that it's air conditioned here, climate controlled, because otherwise it's like you can't use those materials.
Yeah,
So
they just set up way too fast.
yep. So, well, it looks like we're going to be coming up on 10 o'clock here in just a little bit. So, was there anything that I missed that you wanted to talk about this week that we've got coming up?
I can't think of anything. I mean, you talked about.
Yeah, we talked about the promos and stuff that we were
Yeah.
gonna run. Let's see. There's a couple of announcements. I guess there's. Let's see. We're going to be doing ReaperCon. That's not really an announcement, but now is the time to start thinking about that. Where it's,
Well, yeah, we need to get our. We're going to be needing to send off our ribbon order.
right, we're going to do
this
ribbons
month.
again.
So we're gonna be doing ribbons again, and we're gonna add a few new ribbons as well as replenish some of our ones we've already had that we ran out of.
Right.
We ran out of some of our first time ribbons.
I got Moxie.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we've still got plenty of, but we ran out of I'll take sides with that and the Babes magnet and.
I'll take sides with
Busted.
that.
We'll have to get that.
Right.
We'll have to get those.
So we're gonna have ribbons again this year at ReaperCon for
And
your
we're gonna
badges
do
and stuff.
some new ones too.
We'll
so.
do What is this?
Babe magnet.
Babe magnet.
We need to reorder that.
So if you get your babes, you want to be sure and get your babe magnet ribbon.
Yeah.
And then Critter Keeper, so we've got that one.
Yep.
So so we're going to be ordering, some new ones or whatever to go along with those. But
And we're going to do up like a QR code so you can scan the QR code and it will show you. Because every year
that we've had the ribbons, people come by and, what do I got to do to get the ribbons? So you can scan the QR code and it will tell you this is how you get these ribbons.
Right. So like if you get so many Critterkins, then you get the Critter Keeper. If you get so many Babes, you get the thing. Actually, and if you just come by and see us and say, "Hey, thanks for showing up," you just get this Bombshell ribbon. You know.
Yeah, you just come by, you get the Bombshell ribbon,
Right?
Which is really a cool looking ribbon.
Yeah, it is. It's our logo. So yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing that. Let's see.
Do you have?
Wicked Elf has joined us.
Oh,
Good
hello.
morning. Hey, thanks for jumping in.
So,
And we're going to be, I don't know how the painting contest is going to go this year as far as the ceremony, because they were talking about, they may make changes to it, but we are still doing our painting, dog tag stuff. So if y'all want to
Right.
paint stuff for ReaperCon this year, to get you a Bombshell dog tag and possibly a Melee trophy.
Yes, and I know I owe Heather a Melee trophy because it's still here, and I need to send that out as soon as possible.
Is Heather on there and you still owe her a trophy?
Yes,
Oh,
I
man,
know, I know,
Bad.
I know, and
Bad.
I will have it to you before ReaperCon. I promise.
Heather, I'll make sure he gets it to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, hon. I'll get after him.
yeah. So we'll try to get caught up on that, but yeah. So be thinking about, if you guys want to enter something ReaperCon this year, if you're going to be there, we would appreciate that because it's really super cool to see all of the great painted things that you guys come up with.
And it's fun to give out trophies.
Yeah. Yeah, it is fun. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and I am working on a sculpt for ReaperCon for Reaper Miniatures, and I can't show you what it is.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I talked to Ron about it, and he was like, he sent me a little piece of art from Izzy, and so I will be sculpting a thing, and that'll be available at ReaperCon, and I'm pretty excited about that because I think this is the first thing that I've sculpted for them in 10 years. So it's it's kind of an anniversary thing because it's like Bombshell Miniatures is going to be 10 years old this October.
I was going to say, speaking of 10 years.
Yep. So we're looking at stuff to do some cool things later this year for our anniversary. So we're already thinking about that and trying to figure out, what we want to do. So yeah, Dave's out of ReaperCon this year, so he's not coming unless some crazy miracle happens. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. And we're not doing Wonderfest this year because
we're going to RPG Con.
North Texas RPG Con, which I think is it's the same weekend. Yeah, it's the same weekend.
It is.
So the benefit for us about doing the North Texas RPG thing is it's an hour away, and it's role-playing game stuff. So it's related to the stuff that we do. So
and it gives us a chance to run demos for the upcoming Savage World stuff for Counterblast.
Exactly. Yeah, right. So it's directly related to that stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of a hard sell taking some of the 75mm or even the Critterkins and stuff to Wonderfest because as a garage kit show, they're really looking for like larger scale kits and that sort of thing. So that was a lot tougher for us to fit into that niche. But and it's like an 11-hour trip. So even though I enjoyed going with
Kenny, my brother.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we enjoyed going and hanging out and stuff. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully, this will be a little bit more lucrative for us as far as promoting our products and that sort of thing. So, let's see. Okay, cool. Well, it looks like Greg's going to be at ReaperCon too, so that's cool. Ch Chambers of Miniatures. Good morning. Just tuned in. I will have to watch the VOD. I want to hear about Aves. Yeah, we covered the Aves Apoxie Sculpt earlier in the thing. I was talking about that and going over some tips and everything. So if you missed that, if you're just tuning in now, once we wrap up the show, you can watch that. You can go back and watch the first part of it and catch up on those tips and stuff. So, and then we'll have to, figure out something we want to talk about next week. So,
I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Yeah, but it'll be, so, let's see, we were talking about ReaperCon and then North Texas RPG Con and
what's that other one that's local that you were saying? That was when's that going to be? Like August?
Let me look at that.
I forgot. There was something else too. That's in Plano, or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I'm looking at it. It's the Lone Star Open.
Lone Star Open.
Right. Let's see. Lone Star Open is going to be July 23rd and 24th at the Marriott Dallas Allen Hotel and Convention Center. This is the first year that they've offered having vendors at that show. And so because it's like an hour away and it's local to us, I was looking at that. So they've actually contacted me about getting a space at that show. So I'm going to look at that and kind of see, if that's feasible. They're supposed to be sending me some information about, reserving space for that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's Lone Star Open, and they're going to be doing tournaments for Warhammer and Star Wars Legion. And I don't know if there's going to be War Machine there or not, but they're big regional events, for like whatever those competitions are. So anyway, so that looks like it'll be kind of fun, and we'll check that out and see if we can get a space there. But let's see. Right, actually, I saw your mention about the scout ship and war rocket and so forth. Let's see, Reaper. Right. Okay. No, I don't have any miniatures that are going to be in the Reaper Kickstarter thing, and I think, did they launch that already, or is it Monday? I know it was coming up, so it's going to run all through April for Bones 6, but I don't have any, unless they go back. It looks like it's all new stuff, but unless they go back and like pull stuff out of the archives in order to turn it into Bones, that it's something that I've sculpted, I won't be having anything new in that one. But as far as our Kickstarter goes, as far as the scout ship, this is where we are on that. The last little bit of it is going to be the war rocket. Okay. And so, I don't think I can actually put the picture of it up. Let's see. Unless I go. Scout ship images. Let's see. Okay, so we'll just go to this, and I'll show you guys. Okay, here's our little war rocket image. Okay, so there's 3 different modules on the war rocket, plus the cockpit or the bridge, and then the tail cone section. Okay, so the modular parts, like the tail section and this front part, when you put those together, that was the scout ship. Okay, but this is a brand new bridge or cockpit section. Okay, this middle section here is the passenger hull, which we've already made molds for. So folks that have ordered the passenger hull as an extension module, those have gone out. We've already sent some of those out. And we still have orders for some more that we'll be sending out with these upcoming packages. Okay. This section right here, as a modular section, has 2 new parts to it. Okay. It's got these side parts, which are the balcony section, but the lower section is just the regular hull extension module. Okay. So I already have molds made for that. We already have molds made for the deck and for the bulkheads. So the only new pieces that we're needing to make for that are these balcony side pieces, these little insert wall sections, and and that's it for that middle section. This back section is the same as the scout ship. There's going to be these little plugs which will fit over where the fins on the scout ship go. This top section here is where the new fin plugs into the back section of that. All of these top sections, if you don't glue them together, they'll lift off. And so you can actually get inside, you can put miniatures inside there and move them around and stuff. Okay. But this section with the rocket booster on the back, like this whole tail piece, that's going to be a new piece. And then the afterburner section is going to be a new piece. So the whole front end of that, and then, these sections are what we're going to need to print and mold next. So it's not going to be like making a whole new kit. It's just going to be like making the additional modular sections for this kit, casting the other pieces that we need, and then packaging those up. So those haven't been printed yet. There's still a little bit of engineering that needs to go on as far as making sure that these key sections fit with the other sections that have already been printed. So I want to make sure that all of that fits together. This nose cone is different, so that's new. And then, of course, the windows. So all of these clear windows will have to be printed as parts and then polished and then molded. So we'll want to make sure that, that works. Printing or casting clear resin pieces it's a little bit trickier than just casting regular opaque pieces, because you want to make sure there's not any bubbles or anything trapped in there and all this. So the molds have to be engineered a particular way. But anyway, that's what we have left on that. So once this batch of stuff goes out, as far as the Gentbot set that we had and what was the other thing? The Alani tail section. Yeah. So the Alani drives and tail. So that's what we're working on now. We've already printed the Alani drives and the tail fin. All of those parts have been printed, and I have a little tiny bit of engineering left to do on the tail gunner section to get the weapons to fit in a logical way. But then once we get those parts printed and sent out, then it'll all be back down to the war rocket. So we'll wrap that stuff up. Yay! And I'm not going to say when it's going to be done, because just as soon as I do that, something will come up, something will happen that will get in the way of that and create another delay. So right now, that's where we are and what we're working on. And I'm hoping to get that wrapped up as soon as possible, because I've got a lot of stuff that I want to get back to sculpting on, and we've got a lot of things that we want to start putting out that have been sculpted that we need to put into production. So I know there's like chibi things and all kinds of stuff there's Critterkins. There's a couple of Critterkins that I was sculpting on.
Yep.
That we want to get finished up, and then all of the new pulp sci-fi stuff for Counterblast. We want to get those going. So, but that's where we are on that. So, and that's our little update as far as the production goes on the ship kit. Let's see. So cool. Well, let's see, quality over speed or immediacy. Yeah. Well, we're hoping that that the quality is there. We've been doing our best to make sure that all the parts, fit well together, that they've been cast well, and all this. And then there's
My mom thinks they look cool.
yeah, she thinks they look cool, and I appreciate that. I did share over on the I can't remember which Facebook group it was, whether the Bombshell group or the Counterblast group, but Duncan Rhodes had put out a video on how to assemble and work with resin cast pieces, and so we're going to look at that as kind of a template and kind of put our own little video together for like putting the Scout ship together or some of our other resin pieces. And it's like, well, here's some tips and tricks on how to work with resin and how to be safe with it. Because sometimes some of the parts or whatever will, because they're still flexible, they'll warp in, packaging or shipping or whatever. And there's tricks to warm that stuff up and straighten them out and everything. It's similar to like a bones thing, where you can either put it in hot water or use a hair dryer or something and straighten that stuff out. So there's been a little bit of that, but that's typical with pretty much any resin kit that you're going to work with. So, oh, love the retro vibe, but you knew that already. Yeah, that's one of our things. We like the pulp sci-fi stuff. At least I do. I know.
I do.
Yeah. So
that's very reminiscent of what I liked to watch when I was a kid.
Yep. That's a lot of fun. Talking about watching stuff, it's like we've been streaming the Halo thing, which is kind of cool. Not too hip on the director of photography on that. I thought it could be shot a little bit better. It could look better, but the effects and everything are amazing. So, and I'm not going to spoil the second episode because it's like there's a cool thing in that. But let's see. I was trying to think of what are the other stuff that we finally got caught up on the Mandalorian.
Oh, love Mandalorian.
Yeah, I finally got caught up on the Boba Fett thing. So, and that was fun. I don't know why, but there was a lot of people complaining and stuff about, some of the things in that. And it's like, yeah, there was some lame stuff, but for the most part, it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it. And I'm really super stoked about the Kenobi thing that's coming out later this summer. So I know we'll be watching that.
Oh yeah, Kenobi.
Yeah. So, but we're running a little bit long today. So I guess we're going to wrap up here, and we're going to call this episode 5 for Saturday Morning Cereal.
Everybody.
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody jumping in, particularly those of you that this is your first time coming into the chat and everything. I appreciate you sitting in with us this morning. It's always a lot of fun talking to you. It's kind of a weird thing because it's like, well, I'm reading it on the screen, but yet I'm talking back, and so it's unusual. But I think it would be kind of cool if we had a way to do like a voice. What is it? What's that?
Zoom or whatever.
Well, no, Discord. Like if there was like an audio Discord thing, because I mean, didn't you guys used to do Discord when you were doing raids and stuff in the thing?
Oh, that was called. What was that called? That wasn't Discord. That was called something else.
Oh, okay.
What was that called? I can't remember.
But you know what I'm talking about. Where
you could talk.
Yeah. So, but they have a similar type of thing.
Don't open that door yet, or whatever.
Leroy, whatever. I don't know. But but anyway, but yeah, thanks for jumping in and chatting with us this morning. It's super awesome to get to see you guys come and hang out with us. So, let's see. Yeah, there's voice and video in Discord. Let's see.
Well, cool. Maybe we can figure that out.
It gets more comfortable with practice. Right. So, Leroy Jenkins.
That's right.
Yep. But anyway, yeah, no, we appreciate you guys jumping in, and thanks for letting me, chatter on about Aves Apoxie Sculpt and whatnot. And next week we'll probably be chatting about something else. And maybe there might even be more pictures of cats. So we'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and sign off here because we got yard stuff to do on the rest of the Saturday.
And more casting stuff to do.
And more casting stuff to do. So that way we can get those packages out. But anyway, you guys have a good week.
Yep.
Enjoy working on your projects today.
Awesome.
And we will look forward to hanging out with you guys again next Saturday. So thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Right. And we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.